This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, 250-plus markets across the United States of America, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 80. The number to call up, as always, is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Before I go any further, let me say this. Before I get into my little soliloquy, my diatribe, whatever you want to call it, Cat, kick my music, please. I love L.A. Yeah, I'm in New York, but it don't matter, ladies and gentlemen. You better get used to it. You better get used to it, because with all the noise that's been going on about LeBron James, it appears that LA's the front runner, and not just in the eyes of Vegas, but as we grow closer to July 1st, rather, the start of NBA free agency. LeBron James on June 28th is expected to opt out of his contract, be an unrestricted free agent. And at that particular moment in time, Tinseltown, La La, Los Angeles, Rodeo Drive, Venice Beach, downtown LA Live, the Staples Center, and everything in between, Melrose, and I don't even know what else to think about right now. Yes, I am a native New Yorker, but damn it, you hear this song. You love LA, ladies and gentlemen. How can you not? It's possible. Now it's growing to a likelihood that LeBron James may end up donning the purple and gold. Laker Nation, stand up. Laker Nation, stand up. Laker Nation, stand the hell up. It looks like LeBron is coming to L.A. Now, I don't know that to be true, but damn it, I'm wishing for it. You know why? We love it. L.A. Ha! I'm hoping that LeBron James gets out of a cold city and gets to the palm trees and the sunshine. I don't give a damn about traffic on a 405. I'll take it. Thank you so much, Kat. It is necessary. Now, usually you don't hear New Yorkers talking like that, but damn it, we need it. We need it. If you gonna be the face of the NBA, despite the fact that you no longer are a king with a crown, if you gonna be the face of NBA, damn it, you gotta be in a city like LA. And that's the way it's looking right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is looking that way, not just because of Vegas, not just because reports are LeBron James' son is enrolled in school there. And by the way, let me be very, very clear and veer left for a second here. I will never, ever, ever report that. I will never report, oh my goodness, here's where his kid is going, et cetera, et cetera. What the hell y'all gonna do next? Give the route that he's walking home from school to? Or walking to school from, or whatever? What the hell is wrong with you people? He's a kid. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Don't bother the family of LeBron James. You want to talk about LeBron James? Talk about him. Leave his family out of it. He's a kid. Beautiful boy, by the way. Wish him nothing but the best. But we will not be talking about him on this show. That I promise you. We can talk about LeBron James, though. We can talk about him. We could talk about him in the purple and gold. We could talk about why the hell he ain't thinking about coming to New York, even though David Fizdale is now your new head coach, even though I think Fizdale will get a visit. He'll get a visit and a conversation. We don't know what the hell LeBron James is going to do, but it does seem to be tilting dramatically in the direction of the West Coast. And if that is indeed the case, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, it's something that can't be ignored. It's a beautiful thing. And I would welcome it. And I'm going to tell you why I would welcome it. Because one of the things that's going largely unnoticed, and it's a testament to the greatness of the NBA brand, how prolific it is, and how it has transcended the corridors and the borders of the United States of America. And it is officially international. because the NBA is a global iconic brand with, in some people's eyes, enough parity to keep things interesting. And when you look at it from that perspective, ladies and gentlemen, and then you get down to the brass tacks of it all, here's what we come down to. What we come down to is that it's an absolute travesty that the three largest markets in the United States of America, saddled with 5 NBA teams, the Brooklyn Nets, New York Knicks, the Chicago Bulls, Los Angeles Lakers, Los Angeles Clippers, not one single one of those teams made this postseason. Perhaps sadder is that even if the Clippers made it, most of us wouldn't care. I'm not saying me because I love me some Doc Rivers. But most of us wouldn't care because the Clippers just need to go to Seattle. They need to take a team and put that in that market again in Seattle. That's what they need to do. Stop playing second fiddle to the Los Angeles Lakers. You will never be the Lakers in L.A. Never. Not on your best day. I think if the Clippers were to win the championship the next day, everybody would be talking about the Lakers. That's how bad it is for the Clippers in Los Angeles. And so when you have that and you have 5 teams in the top 3 markets in the nation and not a single one of them have made the postseason, desperate times call for desperate measures. You got Magic in L.A. Jerry West is his competitor with the Clippers. You got Magic trying to get LeBron. If LeBron comes, likelihood is that Paul George will come too. If you luck up, San Antonio might give Kawhi Leonard to you for some of the pieces. If you don't, you still got Kuzma and Ingram and Randall and to a lesser degree Lonzo Ball. And the expectations for a championship would not be immediately saddled on the shoulders of LeBron James. You'd expect them to compete, but not necessarily win a title. Either way you slice it, it'll be L.A., it'll be basketball that actually matters in Los Angeles again. And that's something that all of us can sit up there and appreciate. Here's why I would appreciate this move by LeBron James. See, if LeBron James decides to go to L.A., to the Lakers specifically, do you understand that he's embracing the pressure? Because say what you will, LeBron James has been playing with a Cleveland Cavaliers squad that absolutely no one expected to win a championship this year. You go to Los Angeles, you know what the expectation is going to be? Well, Kobe went there. Kobe won a championship there. Shaq won championships there. Every team, every Lakers team that had a superstar on it outside of Elgin Baylor has delivered a crown. Elgin Baylor was 0-8 in the finals. By the way, the year he retired midway through the season, that was the year the Lakers won the title. That was Jerry West's lone championship. Elgin Baylor, outside of Elgin Baylor, every single marquee star that has played in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform has delivered a chip. So if you're LeBron James and you go to Los Angeles, that would be the expectation. Now, there are people out there, flagrant idiots out there, who are getting on Kobe Bryant today because he spoke to the Bleacher Report on LeBron's finals performance. Kobe said LeBron should have been doing less on the court. That would cause teammates to step up and that he just has to figure out a way to win. And people are sitting there going, who the hell is Kobe Bryant of all people to say this? How dare Kobe Bryant utter those words out of his mouth? When has he ever done less so teammates could step up and do more? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let me tell y'all something right now. Good point. Does Kobe seem a bit hypocritical with those comments? Sure. Because it ain't like he did less. It ain't like Kobe Bryant would have been in the finals struggling against the Golden State Warriors and wouldn't have jacked up every shot. He wouldn't have passed the ball to anybody. We know Kobe. But ladies and gentlemen, having said all of that, I have absolutely positively no problem whatsoever with Kobe saying what he said. Here's why. In the end, ladies and gentlemen, what Kobe is telling you is champions who have been in the conversations pertaining to all-time greats. They've always been saddled with a strong level of obligation and very little tolerance for excuses came their way. What Kobe basically is saying to you is, why are we going to do that for LeBron? Isn't he the best in the world? Isn't this basketball? Why is it every time we turn around, it's the teammates that he had? It's somebody else not stepping up to the plate. You see, basically what Kobe is saying to you is that if that had been Kobe Bryant and he had broken his right hand, you'd have known that during game one. He'd have came out with the cast in game one and then just would have went out there and balled the last 3 games of the finals. He would not have laid low, said absolutely nothing, went out there and played, high-five during introductions, dunking during warm-ups, dunking, to begin games and what have you. And then when he loses, has the damn cast on his right hand. Once the finals is over. He wouldn't have done that. I believe we know that to be true. Those are the kind of things Kobe's pointing to. Those are the kind of things he's looking at. Those are the kind of things that he's holding everybody accountable to. Like every other Hall of Famer. He's saying, excuse me, don't alter or lower the bar for other dudes. Hold them to the same level of scrutiny that you subjected us to. I don't have a problem with Kobe saying that. That does not bother me. I'm not offended by it. I don't think that's hypocritical. I think that's very real on Kobe Bryant's part. And I appreciate the fact that that is who he is. Some people are sitting up there talking about, he's jealous. He can't stand LeBron James getting all of this noise. Kobe's not playing anymore. Kobe's not playing anymore. He's not some star in this league that's being ignored. Kobe's got 5 rings. He's universally recognized as one of the all-time greats. Kobe's not worried about the shine that LeBron James is getting. Kobe, in Kobe's eyes, is an old man now. He's old. He ain't what he used to be. The body broke down. He's done. He's done. Kobe ain't worried about the shine LeBron James is getting. What he's saying is, excuse me, why is the scrutiny level changing? Wouldn't y'all hold me accountable for that? Kobe Bryant showed up in a first-round game against the Phoenix Suns, first round. Got tired of everybody running their mouth, left it up to other dudes to shoot the basketball instead of himself. We still haven't let that go, and the man won 5 titles and 7 chances. But LeBron got 3 rings. And we going to give him a pass? That's what Kobe's saying. During the playoffs, Kobe was looking at LeBron talking about get your big behind in the post. You're bigger and stronger than everybody else. What the hell you shooting jump shots all day for? Get down there. Be a man. Because you got to be a man in those series. You had to be a man going against Indiana. You had to be a man being against Toronto. And, of course, against Boston. That's basically what Kobe was telling you. I had no problem with that. None whatsoever. Those are the kind of things that have to be looked at. Those are the kind of things that cannot be ignored. It matters. We can slice it any way we want to. It matters. And so I say all of that to you to say, please understand where this is coming from. It's not about jealousy. When you are a Hall of Famer and you go through what these guys go through to get to that point, there's a level of scrutiny. Now listen, let me revisit Game 4 Friday night. Nobody's questioning the legitimacy of LeBron James' injury. We're simply saying, why would you wait until the finals are over after you got swept to come out there with a cast on? Is that not your way of sitting there saying, yo, that was them, this was me, look at all I did. I did everything I could. Isn't that you? LeBron's going to be scrutinized for that forever. because it gave the impression that you were essentially trying to pass the buck. And here's the thing. You didn't need to do that to pass the buck. Everybody knew it was them. J.R. Smith, as awful as he was. Kyle Korver shooting 1 for 16. Jeff Green and Tristan Thompson being as limited as they are. No Kyrie. We know. But your insatiable appetite to show us gives us cause to pause and look at you entirely differently than we would otherwise prefer. And that's what we're talking about here. But don't come to me with this nonsense about Kobe being jealous. You think Kobe Bryant want the Lakers to stink? You think he want the Lakers to be garbage? Kobe Bryant wants the Lakers to succeed. His main man, Rob Pelinka, is the GM. Magic is the president. Kobe Bryant doesn't want this team to fail. He doesn't want this team to fall by the wayside. But what he's saying is there's a standard here. And everybody needs to live up to it. And if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, guess what, man? You got to hit the jackpot in free agency. You got enough money for 2 max players. You got to get one of them. Got to get one of them. LeBron James ain't going to the Suns. He ain't going to the Sacramento Kings. He ain't going to the Atlanta Hawks, although I do not understand why any player wouldn't want to go to the ATL. I would go. I'm just saying. So you got Phoenix, Sacramento, Atlanta, Memphis, and Dallas with the top 5 picks. You're New York, you've got the 9th pick. Guess what? It would be nice if you could do something in free agency, get somebody to pair with Porzingis. It would be nice if you didn't pass up on Donovan Mitchell like you did last year. It would be nice. It really would. But I don't want to digress too much. I'm in a good mood. Because more so than Chicago, I care about New York and LA. I care about them having a credible and quality basketball team. And I personally would like to see a situation in a scenario where they're able to capitalize on such things. That would be me. And I would tell you right now, as I think about this more and more in depth, it's incredibly important. The Lakers better hope. We all should hope that LeBron goes to L.A. It's just something more special about the NBA when the Lakers are relevant, you know? It just is. I mean, L.A. is beautiful, but it's even better when the Lakers are relevant. There's something special about it when the Lakers are relevant. And something's missing when they ain't. And if LeBron comes to L.A., that is going to set the NBA on fire. It really, really is. He'll need help, but it's going to set him on fire. And I'm anxious to see how that pans out. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. I wish I could say the same about the Knicks, y'all. But you got Porzingis, who's injured. You don't even know if he's going to be ready for the first half of the season. And he's the only quality player you really, really want to play with. Everybody else is just there. David Fizdale, listen, Mark Jackson was my number 1 choice. Fizdale was my number 2. Nobody else really mattered. When I brought up Kenny Smith, you want Kenny Smith to be an executive, but I like Steve Mills. And I think Scott Perry really knows what the hell he's doing. And if he's allowed to do what he does, this guy has the pulse of players. He knows who can play and who can't. He knows who can coach these players and who can't. I trust Scott Perry. I don't know how much I trust James Dolan. I really, really don't. I try not to be so hard on him. But I really, really don't know. And then you got this draft coming up. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, look at the players. This guy Doncic I forgot someplace in Europe. Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, whatever the hell it is. You got DeAndre Ayton out of Arizona. He's going to be your number one pick. Doncic's probably going to be number two. You got Bagley out of Duke. You got Mo Bamba out of Texas. You got Trae Young. You got the Bridges. One's at Villanova, the others at Michigan State. I mean, you're just looking at it, and it's like there's question marks. It's a good draft, but there are question marks as to who's going to be that star. And if I got question marks with the top five, how the hell am I supposed to feel about the Knicks at number 9, Nuno? How the hell am I supposed to feel about the Knicks at number 9? Who the hell's going to fall to 9? I don't see no Donovan Mitchell in this draft. I don't see it. Still trying to figure it out, though. Still trying to figure it out. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's the number to call. 888-729-3776. Lots of stuff to get into in regards to LeBron James potentially going to L.A., in regards to Kobe and his statements about LeBron. Regards to a lot of different things. We'll talk about all that and more coming up. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Your calls and more coming up in a minute. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show, being brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics. One of the things that I think we need to take a moment and really think about as it pertains to what we saw during these NBA finals. Kevin Durant is the reigning two-time reigning NBA Finals MVP. 2 times over. 2-time champion as well. And right now, I think you got to ask yourself the question, who would you rather have? Would you rather have LeBron James or Kevin Durant? Seriously. Here's why I asked that question. First of all, we understand that LeBron James is universally recognized as the best in the world. But why do we act sometimes like we don't know how great Kevin Durant is? I went off about how he wanted no parts of LeBron in game 1 because he's too great to ever come across that way. And he spent the last 3 games making sure to remind everybody of just that. In fact, by game 3, LeBron looked like he wanted no part of KD. KD is an assassin. This brother is something else. Because we got to understand something here. Kevin Durant, and I said this morning on First Take, this is what I was trying to break down. LeBron James is a transcendent figure. He's a Renaissance man. He's got a multitude of things going on at all times. Not that he can't handle it, because he certainly can, and he's proven as much. But please, let's keep into perspective what this man brings to the table. As great as LeBron is, and he is great, if you're an owner, do you want somebody that's like that, or do you want somebody on that level who appears to be all about hoops? It's not that Kevin Durant ain't making money off the court. It's not like he's not building opportunities for himself in Silicon Valley and beyond and all of this other stuff. We know that. But when you look at Kevin Durant and what he's bringing to the table, you also get the impression that this brother will walk into the park anywhere in the world and start hooping. Because even though he's about his business, he just loves playing that much. It don't have to be on the court in the NBA uniform all the time. And when you got somebody that just has that kind of love for the game, like he went on Jimmy Kimmel last night and said he must have been drinking too much champagne when he said he was thinking about retiring in 5 years. That's not who Kevin Durant is. That's not what he wants to do. He loves to hoop. And if you are an owner, do you want that superstar that is all about hooping? Or do you want that Renaissance man? And by the way, which one is best for your team? Don't get me wrong. I want to emphasize what I'm saying here. Not blaming LeBron James at all. I would be like LeBron James if I was LeBron James. I wouldn't do anything differently than what he's doing. I applaud him and admire him for it. But that serves him as an individual. As a team, sometimes it's a flagrant and perpetual reminder to his teammates that they are less than he is. And it certainly disempowers the organization. And we can't ignore that either. I'm not saying that's bad for LeBron. I don't blame him one bit. But if I'm an owner, I might prefer KD. That's what I'm saying. But I digress. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Let's go to Vic in Long Beach. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Vic?
Hey, Stephen A., as a young black sports journalist, I just want to say you are my ultimate role model.
Thank you.
Hopefully one day I can aspire to even half of what you do. But I want to hop right into it, Stephen A. I've got two questions. The first question is, who do you think would be the best combination for LeBron to take with him to the Lakers? I mean, I've been hearing speculation about Chris Paul lately. Do you think that'd be more of an ideal fit than Paul George or even possibly a DeMarcus Cousins?
I think Paul George would be ideal because he's a two guard that can defend the 2 or the 3 position. And I think that's important. I can't underestimate Chris Paul. Please don't get me wrong, but Paul is significantly taller. Notwithstanding his performance in game 5 game 5 or 6 rather of their series against Utah, I can't take away from what he's capable of bringing. He's never played with a player the caliber of LeBron. I can't ignore that either. So I would be about Paul George more so than Chris Paul.
Okay, I got one more quick one, Stephen A. And this, to me, this is more of an important question, and I don't think anybody has really speculated on it enough. How safe is Luke Walton's job?
It's safe. It's safe for now. Magic didn't bring him on board, but the flip side is that the team has improved with him. Players have improved in terms of their play. They're pleased with him as of right now. And I'm here to tell you something, Victor. Had Luke Walton lost the Lakers job, Charlotte Hornets would have gobbled him up instantly.
I agree. Or I would have at least thought that we would have given Dwayne Casey.
Michael Jordan and Mitch Kupchak love Luke Walton. He'd have been the head coach of Charlotte immediately.
So let's just say hypothetically, if you remember LeBron's first year in Miami when they got off to that slow start, I think they started off 9-10. I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but say LeBron comes over and he brings another star with him, and they were to get off to a similar start.
Who cares about the start?
Do you think he's in a hot seat at least? Or
No. Luke Walton will be fine for now. He'll get through next season, and then after that, we'll see what happens. Appreciate the call, Lo. Thank you so much. Tony in West Palm, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Tony?
Peace to you, Stephen A. It's always an honor to be on the show.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Do you, Brian Windhurst the other day was talking about, LeBron picking up the phone, calling KD. Do you think that there's any chance that the great man, the great father, the great businessman calls Kyrie Irving and, I don't know, squashes the beef, meet up somewhere possibly?
There's no beef. It's no beef right now. That's over and done with. Kyrie made decisions. Kyrie ain't interested in playing with LeBron. He's already expressed that. That's A. B, right now, Kyrie has to be concerned about his health. There's some serious questions about his knees. And as long as that's a question mark, he's going to have a hard time with anybody because Kyrie's looking to get paid. You got to remember, Kyrie's a champion. Russell Westbrook is not a champion. CP3 is not a champion. But Russell Westbrook signed a $217 million extension. CP3 turned down a $200 million extension, but is set to get paid an abundance of money. Steph Curry signed for $207 million. Kyrie Irving is being paid in the middle of a $90 million contract. He's getting paid $100 million less than those guys. That's not going to sit well with him, but he's got to get healthy, and we'll see what happens. I got to run. I appreciate the call. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. More of your calls. More talk about LeBron and Kevin Durant. Which player would you want? What about LeBron in L.A.? What the hell are the Knicks going to do? Stephen A., ESPN Radio. Coming right back at you in a minute.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Hour number 2, after I speak to the insider extraordinaire on the NBA for ESPN, the one and only Adrian Wojnarowski. After I talk to Woj, I'll get into some NFL stuff. Khalil Mack's contract situation, Aaron Donald's contract situation, Julio Jones' contract situation. The list goes on and on. Some NFL stuff, NFL season. Now that the NBA finals are over, NFL talk's going to percolate. It's going to step up, particularly once the preseason begins in August. Or between now and then, there's some contracts that, got to get signed, mandatory mini camps, guys holding out. David Johnson for the Cardinals skipping his mandatory mini camp along with others. Don't get me started with Le'Veon Bell and others. So we'll see. By the way, I posed that question. Which player would you want? LeBron or KD at this particular moment in time on your team? If you had to pick one or the other, which one would you want? Car_Wash88 writes, everyone wants a talent like LeBron, but no longer does anybody want a teammate like LeBron. A guy who tries to run the entire show and put his own roster together. With Durant, you get a transcendent talent and a guy that is willing to fit into whatever you have going on. Not to mention a player 3.5 years younger. Very, very good point, _Wash88. Plus, Jamie Garza 06 writes, I want the guy that comes back from a 3-1 deficit against a 73-9 team and then on his 15th year carry his team all season all the way to the finals. Not the one that goes with who beat him after being up 3-1. LeBron James, without a doubt. See? Opposite sides of the fence. That's why I threw that question out there. Thought it would be interesting. Let's go to Chris in Connecticut. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Stephen A. Just want to say, man, I just feel that you are the Howard Cosell to LeBron being Muhammad Ali. You always go after him, but you're making him better in the end. So I just want to we appreciate everything you do out here, man.
I'm trying to be fair. I'm just trying to be fair, and I don't get paid to kisses. You know what? I'm very, very complimentary of LeBron, I feel, but I'm not going to be complimented about every little thing. I mean, the guy passes gas. Some people call it perfume. It's ridiculous. You're complimenting them 95% of the time. What's wrong with scrutinizing them the other 5%? I don't see anything wrong with it if it's accurate. But go ahead.
My question for you, man, is I know, with it being a free agency and all, but with the East being relatively weaker than the West, I mean, what would be better than going to Toronto? I mean, you've conquered them. They need one piece. You are that piece. It's kind of like Kevin Durant.
He doesn't want to live in Canada, and most Americans don't.
But I mean, if he's in championship mode.
Hold on. If you're in championship mode, why is Toronto a better situation than various other teams? Why is Toronto a better situation than Boston? Why is Toronto a better situation than Philadelphia? Why is Toronto a better situation than Golden State? Why is it a better situation than Houston?
Look, I would have to say because if he wants to stay in the East so he can compete and beat those guys that
nobody said he wanted to stay in the East. But I just told you, if he did want it to stay in the East, I just gave you two teams that I would pick before Toronto.
Boston.
Yeah, you wasn't ready for this call, Chris. I'll talk to you later. Appreciate the call. Thank you. You weren't ready, bro. You just weren't. It's okay. Leon, in Illinois. You're live with Stephen A. You only got 50 seconds. Go ahead, Leon. Leon, are you there? Leon is gone. Listen. Bottom line is this. It'll be news in itself if LeBron James was interested in going to the West. And everything that we're hearing points more and more to him going to Los Angeles to become a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. If he pulls this off It's going to be something special for Irvin Magic Johnson. It really is. It'll put more pressure on them to field the team, but if anybody's immune to pressure, it's Magic Johnson. I mean, he showed that throughout his illustrious career. No reason to believe that it would faze him now. So let's just be very, very clear about that and understand what that means. Talk about Irvin Magic Johnson here. Talk about Irvin Magic Johnson here. Okay? Let's just be clear. We're talking about Magic. We love it. I love L.A. Yeah. Adrian Wojnarowski, NBA insider extraordinaire, is up next. He'll have a clue about where LeBron's going. He'll have a clue. More to Stephen A. Smith Show in a minute.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show, hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Right here with you for the next hour or so. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Always an honor and privilege to have my next guest on the line. He is the NBA insider extraordinaire for ESPN, the one and only Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, better known as Woj, is right here with yours truly. What's going on, Woj? How are you, man?
Stephen A., thanks for having me on. I'm doing great.
Thanks for being on. Finals anticlimactic, wouldn't you say? How would you label what you saw from the NBA Finals this year? Predictable?
Very predictable, and just the dominance of this Golden State team in this era. They have changed the way teams do business in this league. Look at the luxury tax that Houston's going to have to pay, that Oklahoma City's going to have to pay, just to try to compete with Golden State. It's remarkable the impact they've had on this game in a lot of ways, both on the court and the way they play, free agency, and then financially, the way they've impacted the league.
When you say the way that they've done business, specifically, you're talking about just the amount of money that they're willing to spend just to try to knock off the Golden State Warriors, or is there some other nugget of information, some specific nugget of information that you want to throw into the equation?
No, it's just, the price of doing business and trying to find a way to accumulate enough talent to be competitive with the Warriors. And Houston is going through that now. They've got to do a new contract with Chris Paul. Clint Capella has probably turned himself into a max player. And so, and they're paying the role players in Houston, which they did a great job, Daryl Morey did, of assembling role players, PJ Tucker, players like that who help them defensively. It's just the cost is prohibitive. And then Golden State's going to have a lot of big financial decisions coming. But I think that Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, by extension, they set a precedent in Golden State where the best players took less money, and it makes it easier for the other guys to do that, to try to keep this thing together.
We're talking to Adrian Wojnarowski right here with Stephen A. on ESPN. Adrian, talk to me about Chris Paul for a quick second here. How much money did Chris Paul cost himself by leaving the Los Angeles Clippers to come to Houston? Because he walked away, from my understanding, they were going to offer him a 5-year deal in excess of $200 million had he stayed. But he elected to bypass all of that, wanted out of L.A. He's in Houston. He played exceptionally well. But in the same breath, he's 32 years of age. He got hurt. Has he cost himself any money in Houston at all?
You're always going to, by opting in and doing the trade, like last year, if he had opted out and then got his new max number, that was another $10 to $12 million a year last year. But listen, he wants to win, and he was at a point in his career where Chris has made. We're comparing, like his lifestyle is not changing based on the difference in the max money if he did the super max with the Clippers versus what he can do now in Houston. But listen, he did the deal in Houston with an understanding he'd get the full scholarship here going forward. And so that will be the case here. I don't think the only way that I think Chris looks around on the market is if Houston blinks, and I have no indication at all that Houston is going to blink. They knew when they traded for Chris Paul that they did it for the long haul, and that in years 4 and 5 of his deal, when he's making $48 million, and he's 36 and 37 years old, like, that may not be a very good contract, but they're trying to win a title in the short term, and this past season gave them every reason to believe that they can do it with the group they have if they can just keep them healthy and keep them on the floor, which is, it's always a question.
Now, you said they've seen it, and they've seen enough to know that they could do it with the team that they have presently intact. Does that mean that their interest in LeBron James is a bit overblown? Does it mean it's a bit far-fetched that they'd have a chance to get him?
No, it isn't. And you see, I think in Houston, both things are true. Like, right, we have a group that was up 3-2 on the Warriors that we would be happy to run back and try it again. But Daryl Morey is always going to big game hunt in Houston. And it is a pretty complex path to create the salary cap space to go after LeBron or Paul George. That's really, really hard to do. The more likely scenario that they would try is a sign and trade, and that makes it hard. They don't have a lot of assets that teams are dying for. They gave a lot of their younger players and a pick away in the Chris Paul sign and trade last year. That Ryan Anderson deal, 2 years left, $40 million. Like, you're going to have to trade multiple first-round picks to get that money off. And so they need first for LeBron or Paul George to say to them, I want to come. Then they can start to figure it out. But if that doesn't happen, and those players have to look, too, at the roster and go, what's that roster going to look like once they gut it? Do we have enough role players? Could we just do it with a big three and pretty limited, a bunch of minimum deals around it? Those guys might look, that's not enough. Or they might think it's enough. But I think the one thing about Daryl Morey and Gerson Rosas and their front office, they're going to be creative. And they were on the cutting edge last year of how they pulled that Chris Paul deal off. Nobody saw that coming and how they manipulated it to make it happen. So they're the one group that you give a puncher's chance of figuring out a way here. But we're still a long way from that being in motion.
Adrian Wojnarowski right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio discussing NBA free agency and beyond. Let's go to LeBron James. Obviously, you hear the reports, and I've already announced to the world, Woj, I'm not getting into somebody's children. Yes, you could sit up there and say, well, we heard that, LeBron James' son has registered in school in L.A. I'm not getting into which school. I'm not doing that. But I will ask this. I don't touch that. But I will ask you this question. What are the chances when you hear that Vegas puts the Lakers as the favorites towards landing LeBron James? Is that what you're hearing outside of Vegas?
Well, I just think the Lakers are the clearest, simplest path because they have the space to sign him and they have the space readily available to go or they have the ability in LA to create a second max slot without having to do much. And whether that's Paul George, which would be they could do Paul George now. They could do a big free agent next year. Kawhi Leonard could wait till next year. Or Klay Thompson's a free agent. If those players end up out in the market, they may not. They may re-sign where they are. So I just think the Lakers, because it's L.A. and because there's a pathway there, I just think this is a hard market for LeBron to navigate because, when he went to Miami, okay, they started something and they put that team together. And then coming back, it was pretty clear why. The reasoning was why he came back to Cleveland was obvious, and he won a title there. But if he's going to leave again, it's just not obvious this time. It's not clear-cut what makes sense. And because Golden State has separated itself so far from the rest of the league, there's no place where you say, well, if LeBron goes here, they're going to win championships. Now, like Philly with that young core, they could grow together. Yeah, they in Boston would compete in the East, and we talked about Houston. L.A. would still need more. And can he get Paul George to go with him? I just think there's so many. I can understand why Vegas would make L.A. the favorite. Here's what I think makes the Lakers interesting is having Kobe there. And listen, it's obvious, Stephen, and you know this, Kobe wants to be in that conversation with Michael and LeBron, and he hasn't been in that.
Right.
And he's sort of started to put himself back in, hey, my 5 titles puts me in that conversation. And I think L.A. could be a little bit of a trap for LeBron in this way because Kobe will be there, and Kobe will be critiquing how that's going. And if he's not winning championships in L.A., you've got Kobe there who's going to start to continue to try to put himself in that conversation and say, listen, the only standard with the Lakers is winning titles. No one cares about going to a conference finals or the second round. And I think LeBron going to L.A. could help Kobe to pull himself back into that Michael LeBron conversation that he's been left out of. I just think not winning championships in L.A. is different than not winning them anywhere
Well, it's
else.
interesting that you bring that up, because one of the things that I've been telling my listeners, Woj, and I said this on First Take as well, is that when you're talking about Kobe, listen, if there is no superstar outside of Elgin Baylor that wore the purple and gold that failed to bring a chip to the city. And I think the thing about LeBron coming to Los Angeles, whereas he's LeBron, so there's some degree of expectations. There's a difference between an expectation and a mandate. When you were in Miami, it was a mandate because of the position you put yourself in, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 6, or 7. Okay. But then you ultimately delivered by winning back-to-back titles in Miami to some degree. In Cleveland, you didn't have that. You have folks hoping for it. In the case of him going to L.A., if he were to go to L.A., there is no question that people are going to look and they're going to say, Kobe, Shaq, and others,
right,
they delivered chips. You have to do so as well. You expect that to happen, and do you expect that to be a plus or a minus in regards to LeBron James' decision as to where he's going to go?
Here's the thing. We can talk about this and try to put context in it.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron making the decision may just make it on a far more basic level. Where do I want to live? Where do I want to put my kids in school? Where do I want to start setting up my post-career entertainment empire that he's already started to put together? Like, those things may not matter, and maybe they should matter, because in the end, people are going to find a reason to, wherever you go or wherever you stay, there's going to be a level of criticism with it. He has dealt with it since he was a teenager, and probably you get to a point where you just say, I'm going to do what I want to do, what will make me happy, what I think basketball-wise can fulfill me and that my family's comfortable with, and forget all the rest of it, because everyone's going to have an opinion and there'll be a criticism wherever he goes. I do think this. LeBron has created a new norm in terms of moving around, and we sort of look nostalgically at what Kobe did in one city and what Tim Duncan did in San Antonio. But this is a different age, and no one will remember he bounced around if he catches Michael. And if he can get, all anybody I think in this world wants to see is the countdown, 4 titles, 5 titles, and then get toward that 6th title in Michael. And wherever he does that, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Houston, Sacramento, it doesn't matter where it would be. No one's going to begrudge him the bouncing around. It'll just be, he caught Michael or he was on Michael's tail. I think that's how it'll be remembered. And I think that's why for him, pick the place you think you can win, the best chance you have to win, because that's all anyone's going to judge you on in the end. And that's all anybody's holding back. The only thing left between him and Jordan are the championships, and people are going to hold the titles over him. But 3 at his age, 3 more, he's only halfway there, and that's tough. Like 3 more with Golden State, with his prime years being stuck behind his Golden State dynasty, I don't think he can get there.
Well, neither do I. And by the way, I count something else against him too. I count 5 NBA Finals or 6 NBA Finals losses compared to Jordan's 6 NBA Finals victories without a loss. But that's just me. We're talking to Adrian Wojnarowski right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. By the way, before I get to a different subject, you talked about Houston and LeBron, outside shot. What about Boston?
I just think for Boston to do that, would Danny Ainge be willing? Let's say LeBron said, I want to come. Mm-hmm. Would he be willing a year in to ship out Kyrie and probably have to ship out Gordon Hayward? When Gordon Hayward committed to them, really committed to them and came in free agency. I'm not saying Ainge wouldn't do it, but they would have to tear their roster apart to do that, unless there's a sign and trade with Cleveland and they can do, and that's always a possibility.
Right.
Listen, I think any great organization will be in a conversation with him. He has to kick the tires on the great organizations, the great teams. If he wants to chase Jordan, if he wants to win titles, of course you'd want to look at Boston. They have the structure of Danny Ainge as GM and Brad Stevens as coach and a winning infrastructure of players. You would have to do a lot to that roster to make it work. But if LeBron James knocks on your door and says he wants to come, I'm not sure there's anyone who says no, but it would be a dramatic thing largely because Kyrie's there, and we know those two aren't going to play together.
I just don't know about Kyrie right now. I got to think about his health, because you know how Danny Ainge is with that health. You saw what happened with Isaiah Thomas, and he obviously pulled the right trigger in that regard. But we're talking to Adrian Wojnarowski right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Philadelphia's got money too, just like the Lakers. Not as much, but they got enough from LeBron.
They do, and again, they have an easy pathway, like they and the Lakers. They can just sign him right into their space and plug him in. And I think, too, for LeBron, you've got to look at, listen, he's the best player in the game at 33. He might be the best player at 34, 35. Like, is it going to be like Tom Brady where he's 40 and we're still waiting for someone like for him to – maybe he'll keep doing this. But at some point, if he wants to win more titles, he might say, let me go somewhere where there's great young players who – at some point, I can be the second best player. Maybe I'll be the third best player at the end of a 4-year deal. I'm not sure that's the case. He'll probably still be better than both those guys, as great as Embiid and Simmons are going to be. But it does fit, and it does fit financially. You can do it, and I think they've been a team that will have been and will be a consideration.
What about the Warriors? The Warriors have talked about doing business, staying on top, not resting on their laurels. Clearly, I've been told keeping the core four intact is a priority, but you got Klay Thompson's daddy, Michael Thompson, who's our colleague here at ESPN, working out of ESPN LA, saying that his son's probably not going to sign an extension this summer. Draymond Green told our very own Chris Haynes he doesn't plan on signing an extension if offered to him. And you know Joe Lacob and Bob Myers and those guys, their mentality is, hey, we might have to be prepared to move in a different direction ourselves. We've got Steph Curry locked in. Kevin Durant is virtually committed to staying. Why not them talking to LeBron or somebody else?
Well, they would have to gut their roster to do this, or with Klay Thompson and Draymond, they can be offered more money. They can make more next summer. Financially, it doesn't make any sense for Klay to do a deal this summer.
Right.
He could basically, it's the same offer he could have had last summer. Mm-hmm. But Klay wants to be there, and I think Klay is going to be willing to take a little less than the max to keep this thing going. Draymond, and you read Chris's piece today, it sounds like his head might be in a different place on doing that, and I think it's going to be really difficult for Golden State to pay Draymond $30 million plus a year with the team they have. Like, that might be tough for them. You can't pay everybody. And so, but like, they'll get to that when they get to it. And I think the one thing Golden State really believes, as long as they have Curry and Durant, if they need to go out in free agency, they can get any third player they want. They can get anybody in the world to play with those two. And so if any of those players make decisions about wanting to go somewhere else, I just think Golden State knows with those two players, whether it's Kawhi Leonard in the future, whoever it is, hypothetically, that will be just the most attractive place for a guy to want to go play. And I don't think they feel like they would ever, be left out of the free agent conversation. But they want to keep this thing going, and this ownership has been willing to spend money to keep their core intact, and they have a big bill coming in luxury tax during the next couple of years, and they're making a lot of money. They got a new arena opening, so. Again, they changed the financial dynamic of the league with what they're spending and what they're forcing others to spend.
I know Sam Presti is going to offer the house to Paul George, but nevertheless, what's Paul George's status? Because every time you turn around, you're hearing how he may want to go to L.A., but he'll have to pass up a lot of money in order to do that. What are you hearing about him?
Yeah, and I think Oklahoma City has done a great job of selling Paul George on them. That I think when he left Indiana, his mind was on L.A., that he would, wherever he was for a year, he'd go to the Lakers. Oklahoma City's done a great job of selling him on a future there or considering a future there. And I don't think it's just L.A. and Oklahoma City. I think George, I think Philadelphia, Houston are teams that are going to be aggressive with him. And why wouldn't you look at every place, at every situation? And I think while those may be the two front runners, like I think Paul George is going to have an open mind about more than that in the league. And you know, too, Stephen, when it's a player of Paul George's caliber, and then obviously LeBron, if you tell a team you'd like to come play for them, teams can get creative with cap space. So there's always going to be teams we're not thinking of that can get creative and try to get involved with one of the big free agents. And that'll be, that'll be the fun part between now and July.
Woj, please don't laugh at me. I'm being emotional here. But, I mean, are the Knicks are going to be a part of any of these conversations, any of them? I mean,
their goal is to be in 2019, 2020. Their hope is that Porzingis is back, shows that he can come back healthy, that they have him as a pillar to build around, and then they can find someone, and then they've got to nail this draft coming up next week. And the Knicks' hope is they're not going to be a player this summer, but next summer their hope is that they can get involved. Scott Perry, David Fizdale can get out there, and Porzingis, the three of them can go out and for the first time in a very long time, make the Knicks players again in free agency.
Well, how is it, Woj, that they got to hit it big in the draft this year? Listen, I can't figure out who the hell's going to be available at number 9. I mean, you got this kid Doncic out of Europe. You got Bagley and Mo Bamba and all of these guys. But I mean, other than the top 5 guys, I just don't know about what the Knicks could do in this particular draft. Woj, I just don't know.
Well, listen, they could get Mikal Bridges, the small forward from Villanova, is a great fit. The one thing Fizz wants, they're not going to get a start. Well, history says they're not getting a start, Don. You never know. But the one thing Fizz wants is he wants to start building with two-way players, guys who play hard, who compete, who do it on the defensive end. Mikal Bridges is the rare college player who's won 2 titles. He'll be there, or they're going to maybe they look at a point guard and to see which of the point guards makes it to them at 9. That could also be a consideration. But this is a pretty good lottery this year. Like, there's a lot of talent in this lottery. And so the Knicks will have a chance to get someone there. And, they need another building block. They need to have young players that they can start having as at least rotational players, if not, good starters.
Last question. It's definitive that Kevin Durant's going to stay in Golden State. Is that correct?
Yeah, he has said that. He has never showed any indication that, he knows he has a good thing there. And, yeah, I think that's going to continue. He said it to Rachel Nichols last week, and he's never said anything different privately, or his group has never said anything different privately than they're saying publicly.
I think the class of 2019 has a shot of being better than the class of 2018. Woj, particularly with Klay Thompson and Jimmy Butler and Kyrie available. It could get very interesting.
Yeah, and Kawhi Leonard is the other one who's the wild card who could be available next year. And those are all players who the teams they're with would love to re-sign. And usually players of that caliber stay because they can make more money where they are. And the system is set up for those guys to not move in free agency. But like history tells you, one or two will, because they always do.
Last question, I forgot. Kawhi Leonard, San Antonio. Is he going anywhere?
There's still conversations that need to happen with Kawhi, Greg Popovich, for them to get a handle on how they want to proceed forward. So that's right now the Spurs' focus is they want to keep him. They want to welcome him back into the group there, and that's what they're trying to do, and we'll see how that plays out here the rest of the month.
I think if they move him, if something happens and they end up moving him, I do not think they will move him in the Western Conference. I think they'd send him East, Woj, but that's just me. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Stephen, anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, buddy. The one and only Adrian Wojnarowski right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. The absolute best at doing it right now, without question. Him and Adam Schefter. Don't get much better than them. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. That's the number to call into the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. Back to your calls in a minute. And some NFL talk to get into as well. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Some NFL stuff that I wanted to get into. First things first. Julio Jones for the Atlanta Falcons, 3 years, almost $35 million remaining on his contract. He's aware of the 7 other receivers, however, who average more than $14.25 million per year. He wants a renegotiation in his contract. How do y'all feel about that? I have no problem with it whatsoever. It's the NFL. It's the most violent sport going, and the reality is clear. When you are an NFL player, they can cut you, they can waive you, they can restructure your deal or whatever. Anytime you're in a position to get more money, do it. Especially when they watch them give $150 million to Matt Ryan, which is $30 million a year, and we're still waiting for him to win. I'm sorry. Take care of Julio Jones. I don't know what you do for him, but damn it, do what you got to do. Just like Pittsburgh took care of Antonio Brown. Aaron Donald for the Los Angeles Rams. He's another dude that needs to be taken care of. He's scheduled to earn $6.9 million in the final season of his 5-year rookie deal. He's seeking to become the highest paid defensive player in the NFL, if not among the highest paid players in the league. He clearly deserves to be the highest paid defensive player. Let's talk about J.J. Watt. Aaron Donald's right there. Matter of fact, he's more reliable. He's been healthy. Love J.J. Watt, though. But I tell you something right now, you're the Los Angeles Rams. You better take care of Aaron Donald. Better take care of him. I've been saying it for years. You need to take care of this brother. Another story. Le'Veon Bell told ESPN he won't accept an extension worth less than the $14.5 million per year, his franchise tag number for 2018. Okay. He deserves his money too. Touched the ball about 406 times between catches and runs. Give him his money. Period. Khalil Mack, Oakland Raiders, slated to earn $13.846 million under the 5th-year option of his rookie deal. Max has his sights set on a new deal with an excess of $65 million, according to the NFL Network's Steve Weish, my buddy. Steve Weish and I go back a long ways. Always has been an exceptional reporter. An even better friend. What a beautiful brother he is. Works for the NFL Network, does an outstanding job for them. Just wanted to give one of my buddies some love, no doubt about it. And, of course, Arizona Cardinals running back David Johnson is skipping this week's mandatory minicamp in hopes of getting a new contract. Two sides have been in discussions regarding a new contract. He's hopeful for a new deal, that it'll be reached before the season starts. Johnson, he's heading into the last year of his rookie deal. He's due to make $1.905 million this season, according to ESPN stats and information, and the team can franchise him in 2019 and 2020. He ain't getting so much. Health has been an issue with him, and they can franchise him both years. If I were the Arizona Cardinals, as much as I want David Johnson to get his money, I need him to play a full season, Nuno. I need him to play a full season healthy before I'm going to give him some dollars. He's not Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, or Le'Veon Bell. All of those are proven. The only thing David Johnson has proven to us is that he can really, really ball when healthy. The problem is he ain't been healthy. That's just me. Since I could franchise him both years, I wouldn't do it both, but I'd franchise him at least 1 year. I think that's fair, Nuno. Franchise him 1 year and call it a day. Let's get back to the phones. Let's go to my man, Champ, my boy out of Detroit. Talk to me, Champ. What's going on, baby? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm all right. Go ahead, man.
Just want to make it real quick. I mean, I think the LeBron sweepstakes is over. I don't even know why it's a big story and why is everybody worried about where LeBron is going. His era has been over since he left Miami. I mean, minus the stimulus package, this guy could be 0-5 in the last NBA Finals. He's posted an 8-23 record.
Well, see, that's somebody like you. Your opinion doesn't mean anything to me in regards to that, and here's why. Because you traveling all over the country. You chilling. You living, you Big Willie. You understand? You ain't stuck in snowstorms. You understand? You ain't traveling with connecting flights and stuck in these boring cities. You know, hell yeah, it matters to me where he is. I don't want LeBron in Boston. I don't want him in Cleveland. And LeBron goes to L.A. That's more time in L.A. I don't have a problem with that. That's a personal decision. I don't mind. You can sit up there and say it don't matter to you. Matters to me. I can tell you that much.
But if we talking basketball...
No, don't. Listen, man. It ain't just about basketball with LeBron. When I say he's a transcendent figure, you show the proper respect where it's due, champ. We got to take in the personal life into consideration. I mean, do you want to be drinking hot chocolate or some smoothies in the sunshine? Which one is it? Hot chocolate in the cold or some smoothies in the sunshine? I want smoothies in the sunshine.
So let me give you my prediction. You know, I remember you and I back 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, with him going to Miami and then back to Cleveland. And I think, I think the sweepstakes is down to two teams, outside of Cleveland. If he's leaving Cleveland, it's Steve Ballmer and Pat Riley. I really believe everybody keeps talking about the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers is going to make that dumb of a move to put in LeBron, a 34-year-old basketball
Why would it
player.
be dumb? Why would it be done? He's in his 15th year. He just finished averaging 27 a night. He carried the team to the finals, even though it was in the Eastern Conference and all of that. I don't think they would win a championship, but he'd certainly make the Lakers a playoff team and a potential contender in the West. Why is it a stupid move for the Lakers to bring him on board?
Okay, you going to let me finish? I'm going to tell you why.
Hurry up.
I think the Lakers put them in a position like the Boston Celtics. You signed Paul George this offseason, and then you set yourself up to go after Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant in Los Angeles the following year. You destroy the Warriors by taking Klay Thompson and Durant. It's the Durant era. It's not the LeBron James era. He had his run. He's never going to win a championship again. The only way he can win another title again, he has to take a major pay cut and get Chris Paul himself, get Carmelo with a buyout, and convince Paul George to come down to Miami. And now the discussion then changes that we may have a Miami Heat Warriors finals with a potential LeBron winning. Other than that,
you know what I don't like about your suggestion? You know what I don't like about your suggestion? You're acting like Kevin Durant's going to just re-up for one more year. What if Kevin Durant signs a multi-year deal with Golden State? Then that means that, hold on. Then that means, guess what? He's not in a position to be a free agent next summer. Klay is, Jimmy Butler is, but I don't like the idea of Paul George with Klay. I don't like that. I like LeBron with Paul George better than Klay with Paul George, just like I'd like Klay better with LeBron than with Paul George.
I like Lonzo Ball, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Paul George in Los Angeles because I'm a Lakers fan.
Well, why is Lonzo Ball a part of this discussion?
It's early. He's a point guard. He's a true facilitator. Give him time. He's 6'7".
I like him, but let's face reality, okay? The Lakers, in order to get him, they passed up on Jason Tatum. They passed up on Markkanen, who you've raved about in Chicago. They passed up on Dennis Smith in Dallas. They passed up on Donovan Mitchell.
I love the core of the Lakers. I love what they're doing. It's just like Boston. You get Paul George this summer, kind of like when the Warriors signed Iguodala a few years back, before he started their run. And then you make a splash with Klay Thompson, which his dad played for the Lakers.
Yeah.
And the trump card
I got you.
is Kevin Durant.
I just believe that the Lakers got to make a splash this summer. But I hear you. I feel you. I appreciate it, man. Get on out of here, man. Go on out of here. Go in the sunshine and stuff, chilling out. No regard for the average fan out there who's freezing in these cold temperature cities. No regard for us, champ. You just want to sit up there. You want to be in the sunshine and leave the rest of us behind. Get on out of here, man. Have a nice day. Whatever. Bye. Yeah, Laker Nation does want LeBron. That's why y'all got those billboards for him out there. Stop your lying. Your calls to close out the show with Stephen A. in a minute.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! Back to the calls we go. Let's go to Patrick in Ohio. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Patrick?
Thanks for taking the call, Stephen A. I got a couple questions. So I'm going to throw you a curveball here. I was listening to another station a little bit earlier on, and I heard just one host killing LiAngelo Ball talking about he is not an NBA player. I would like to get your take first and foremost on this topic of I could probably name, my opinion, 100 players that LiAngelo could take the place of that are currently in the NBA.
Stop right there. I'm not qualified to do that. I haven't seen much of LiAngelo. Have you?
Yeah, I watch, I follow the family, so okay. I kind of watch
fine.
Little things you do. I've not seen him in the NBA game.
Stop right there. My reason is this. This is the only thing that I have. First of all, I actually like LeVar Ball. Here's the only thing that I have towards everyone outside of Lonzo. Haven't seen him on a collegiate level. Dad pulled him out of college, pulled one out of high school. I don't really know what they can do. Lithuania don't count to me, bro. If competition in Lithuania ain't going to cut it for me. That's what I'm going to see on that. I don't know because I haven't seen LiAngelo. But I can tell you, I'm not turned on by hearing that he was in Lithuania.
Okay, fair enough. Now, part two to this is I keep hearing everybody, you know what I'm saying, you like Lonzo. You ain't one of his biggest haters or critique him. However, diehard Laker fan here, I look at Kobe's rookie numbers, look at Lonzo's rookie numbers. Looking at Kobe's rookie numbers, could you honestly say, looking at those rookie numbers his first year, that Kobe would be one of the greatest players there ever was?
But let me tell you where you're wrong right now, and I'm not going to spend time belaboring it because I got a show to move on from. My issue with Lonzo Ball was his aggression. You knew Kobe wanted it. Now, obviously, he was going to be held back. The game was different. You had a coach in Del Harris that wasn't hiring him. You had teammates that didn't like his mouth. There were a lot of mitigating circumstances. In the case of Lonzo Ball, you were handed the keys to the throne. It's your franchise. You can reinvigorate Showtime. He wasn't aggressive enough. That's my only issue with Lonzo. Be aggressive. Go out there and play like you want it, as opposed to being perfectly content dribbling the ball past half court and just passing to somebody else. But call me back tomorrow, Patrick, and I'll give you a little bit more time on this subject. Let's go to Mike in Virginia real quick. You're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Thanks for taking the call, Stephen. You posed the question, if you were an owner, who would you take, LeBron?
An owner, yes.
Or Kevin?
Right now, yes.
I guess it would depend upon what city my franchise is in.
Okay.
If I'm talking about Atlanta, maybe I would take Durant.
Okay.
If I'm talking about Sacramento, maybe I'll take LeBron.
Got it.
Because I got to still build somebody around here. And I'm wondering, there's one question, I'll let you go. You think Durant could have did what LeBron did for Cleveland, taking them to the conference finals?
In the Eastern Conference, yes. Maybe not to the finals, but to the Eastern Conference finals. In the East, yeah, I do. Thanks a lot for the call. Let's go to Dave in Hartford. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Stephen A., best ever do it. Thanks for taking my call. First and foremost, the NFL is a joke that Julio Jones even has to beg for money.
Yep.
Number two, why isn't anybody even talking about LeBron going to Portland? He has the playmakers waiting for him there, and he can squash many demons. He ain't going to no Portland.
He ain't going to no Portland. He's not going to Portland. Listen, Damian Lillard's making a boatload of money out there, and they take care of Damian Lillard. But that Mr. Big Shot brother himself, that all-star, I'd like to see him in a bigger market too. And I don't think LeBron James will go to Portland. I really don't. You're going to be in a smaller market. Why don't you just stay in Cleveland? But we'll talk about that in 22 hours from now. I got to get on out of here, but I'll be back. NFL, NBA, MLB, all that and more in 22 hours. Peace and love.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.